Welcome back, Trailblazers. Before we dive into today's episode, I want to take a moment to talk about a tool that has completely transformed the way I plan and navigate my hikes, AllTrails Plus. As a Trailheads Ambassador and the organizer of the Yakima Valley Trekkers, I'm out on the trails a lot. One of my favorite features of AllTrails Plus is the ability to edit and create my own maps. Conditions change, fallen trees, washed out sections, or even a last-minute reroute. And with AllTrails Plus, I can adjust my route on the fly and share it with others so everyone stays informed and safe. AllTrails Plus also gives you offline maps, wrong turn alerts, and 3D trail previews to help you stay on track and make the most of your adventure. And the best part, you can get 30% off an AllTrails Plus membership with my exclusive link in the episode show notes. So whether you're planning your next big trek or just looking for a new trail to explore, AllTrails Plus has you covered. Check it out and let's hit the trail. Welcome everyone to the Hikes and Mikes podcast. I'm your host, Ivan, and together we'll embark on a weekly journey, connecting with extraordinary hikers from all corners of the United States and beyond. Throughout these spring months, we've had the privilege of conversing with remarkable individuals. Their experiences and adventures will leave you yearning to hit the trails. On the Season 10 premiere of Hikes and Mikes, we're joined by Jones and Princy, a married couple whose love for the outdoors has taken them on incredible hiking adventures together. From their first ever hike to running on the literal ocean floor, they share how hitting the trails has strengthened their bond and tested their limits. We chat about their most memorable hikes in and around Nova Scotia, and including some of their most recent ones from this last winter. Plus, they share about their fall color season near Halifax, their visit to Vietnam, and also their incredible Northern Lights experiences in Canada. Without further ado, let's jump into this episode with our guest, Jones and Princy.
Welcome everyone to the latest episode of the Hikes and Mikes podcast. I'm really excited for this episode, kicking off season 10. I have an amazing duo from the Atlantic, specifically Nova Scotia in Canada. Their names are Jones and Princy, and they're going to be sharing about their incredible outdoor adventures and what's hiking like in Nova Scotia. Thank you, Jones and Princy, for coming on the podcast. We always like to start off by asking our guests to share a little bit about themselves and how they got started hiking.
Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to speak today. We are really excited to be here. We have followed your work and we are glad to share our passion for hiking with the broader community. So Jones and Princy, we are originally from India. We moved to Canada in 2020. We have been here for almost 5 years now. We both work full time. We are based in Halifax, Nova Scotia. However, we really enjoy hiking and being outdoors. We have also turned this into our little passion project. Princy is really passionate about outdoor photography. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, your pictures that you've been able to share on your feed have been incredible. Especially, I think it's the tulip fields that are there in Nova Scotia were really impressive, and just the fall colors, of course, that we'll definitely touch on. Jones, you've mentioned that you both are originally from India, and that means that you've already had some incredible terrains to explore there in India, specifically the Himalayas. How was it hiking in and around India? And do you remember your first big hike?
So just for a little bit of context. So I was working full time in India, and the culture that I grew up in, it's mostly, study and work, and that pretty much takes most of your time. And I really did not have the outdoor, hobby that I have, the passion for hiking or the love for hiking at the time. So it was just by chance, really. That's how I got into hiking and trekking when I was in India. It was just three of my friends. We were just on a group phone call one day, and then we were really bored out of working our full-time jobs and really wanted to plan like a trip. So one of my friends really brought up about this hiking or trekking in the Himalayan mountain ranges. So again, just for more context, I'm I'm native to the southern part of India where the weather is constant throughout the year. It's like a tropical weather, really. So when this prospect of hiking the Himalayas was brought up, we really liked the pictures because I've never seen snow in my life before like that. So I just Googled and looked at the pictures and it was just incredible. So we just thought we'll do it and we signed up for that hike. It was a 6 day hike, as you probably know. The Himalayan mountain ranges are like a series of mountain ranges, so there are lots of mountain ranges. The hike that we picked was the Up Peak Summit. So it's 15,000 feet high and it's a 6 day hike. So that's how I got into hiking. The three of us signed up for this hike and then we started. It's a group hike, right? So they did most of the logistics and everything. We trained for 6 weeks. I should say I was underprepared when I finally went there. It was a 6 day hike. We started off in a northern part of the country and then we climbed our way up. Each day we were given a specific target, how much distance we should be ideally covering. Because as I had mentioned before, it was a difficult hike. The summit was at 15,000 feet. So in order for us to, cope with the altitude as we climbed up, we had to cover a certain distance and get acclimatized to the altitude and to the change in temperatures and so on. So each day we would cover certain distance. And then the last day was the summit hike from the base camp. And funny enough, two of my friends who came along with me, one of them got the altitude mountain sickness and the other one had like a disc bulge thing. So he had severe back pain and he couldn't also make it to the summit hike on the last day. So it was me and the group of other hikers who had come along. And it was just breathtaking because for someone like me who has never seen snow, who has never really hiked in such harsh conditions, I really loved the challenges that came with it. And of course, the view was just amazing. So once you get to the top, you get to see all the other Himalayan mountain ranges. So at 15,000 feet, the view was just amazing, to simply put it. That was my motivation. At the time, I discovered a lot about myself, the perseverance, and I really loved the challenge. At various points on the final day of the summit hike, I really wanted to just give up, right? But at that point, you realize the sense of community, the other fellow hikers who came with you, how they encouraged people, those sort of things really helped. And for me, also making to that summit and getting that view was just, I couldn't describe that feeling more accurately, I guess, but it was just amazing.
Yeah, what a way to get introduced into trekking, especially in the beautiful Himalayas. Now, you mentioned that one of your friends did get the altitude sickness. You being from the southern part of India, did you experience any issues with the altitude?
Surprisingly, I did not. I did check with my fellow trekkers. It's like some people got it and some people didn't. And they even recommended carrying medication. Like, I don't know, I forgot the name of the tablets that they asked us to carry to help with the altitude sickness. I didn't take any, but my friend who got the altitude mountain sickness took it, but he was really not getting any better. So I have to say, I'm glad I didn't get it. I guess for me, the cold temperatures up until that point, this was back in 2018 when I did the summit, the Bangla Peak Summit. We experienced 40 degrees Celsius heat, which is common in the southern part of the country, but not the snow or the negative temperature. So that was difficult to deal with. But luckily, it was a good group that I went with. They had recommended that I carry gloves and good winter socks and all the necessary accessories that would help you for a winter hike. And it's not like you will experience those extreme temperatures every day of the hike. It's just the last few days of the hike. As you go higher and higher, you would feel those cold temperatures. So that really helped.
Such a great way to kind of build community and tackling some hard treks, because I feel like that's where you either fall in love with it or you don't enjoy it. So I'm glad that you had a great group and great community to help you along the way and help you summit. And now you're in Canada exploring the beautiful trails in and around Nova Scotia, as well as in other parts of Canada and abroad. Now, Princy, hiking wasn't always your thing, but you really developed a passion for it. What was it about Jones's love for hiking that inspired you to try it yourself?
So, growing up, I was not really into hiking or any kind of outdoor adventures. I've just done a few one-day treks in southern part of India, but I have not really tried out hiking as a hobby. So I moved to Canada in 2022, but then last spring I got diagnosed with a condition And as you would know, since we are new to this country, we don't have family support or a lot of friends to talk to. And I wanted to take my mind off of everything that has happened. So that's when I was really in need of having some passion of my own. And I saw Jones was already into hiking, running trails, biking, and everything. So I slowly started accompanying him on different hikes, and it felt really good to be just outdoors. And I also like taking photographs and videos of places that I visit, and I like sharing them on social media. I really enjoy doing it. So that's how it all started, and that's how we started sharing a lot of our adventures.
I think a lot of us have gone out to the outdoors to kind of find peace and serenity through some difficult times. And I'm glad that you have been able to incorporate hiking and photography together. And the passion really comes out in your photos and the reels that you guys are able to share. So many great memories over the last couple of years. Can you share one of your favorite memories from a hike that you both did together?
Sure. So I'll go first and then I'll let Princey follow. It was last summer. We did a hike in Nova Scotia. It's called the Cape Split. It was Saturday afternoon, I think. We were both bored and, we really wanted to get out and explore something. So we just thought we'll go to Cape Split and see how it looks. And we wanted to really explore the trail. We have never been there before. So it was a quick plan. We started from Halifax and we drove. It was like a hour and a half from Halifax. That's how much time it takes to get there. It was a little bit challenging at the beginning because, as Princey had mentioned, she was around last year, spring, she was diagnosed with a condition. So it's a bit challenging initially. But as we started doing the hike, we really started gaining some momentum, the two of us. And it was good to kind of get into that groove and got to the final look off, the Cape Split look off. It was completely foggy. We could see the view, as we have seen in pictures, as we have seen our fellow content creators or other outdoor enthusiasts had uploaded. So we were really looking forward to get the view, but it was very foggy that day and we couldn't see the complete beauty that place has to offer. So we were a little disappointed, I have to say that for sure, because we were really looking forward to getting that view. But then as we took some pictures and created some videos when we were on our way, we were really joking about it because we really wanted to be prepared the next time. As Princey had mentioned, we are still fairly new to the hiking community. So it kind of taught us how the both of us should be when planning for hikes. The view, if you're really into, getting the good view of the look off or the summit, you always have to research the weather and whether if it's going to be foggy that day. And then later on, we realized through our research that the AllTrails app has a feature which gives you the temperature on the trail that day and also whether the fog forecast is going to look like for that day. So these are things that we figured out as we did many hikes along the way, but it was really funny for the two of us to do that hike and not get a good view of Cape Split. So yeah, that's my favorite memory.
I'd like to share a funny experience that we had this winter. So when we went to this trail during our Quebec winter trip, it's called La Chouane Trail, I guess. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. It's in Grants Gardens National Park in Quebec. It started out really well. And as we continued to hike, we saw a bear sign halfway through the hike, and we got really nervous because we have never encountered a bear before. And at that point of time, we were totally underprepared and didn't carry a bear spray or anything. So we somehow pushed and finished the trail. And while we were coming back, we saw something moving at a distance. It was black and small, and it wasn't very clear from the distance. So we assumed it to be a bear cub and freaked out because that would mean that the mama bear is somewhere around. And as we moved further, it turned out to be a beaver. So it was such a relief, and that was a funny experience that we had.
I've always wondered, coming across either a bear cub or a cougar cub, it's cute and sweet to see at the beginning, and then you instantly say, "Where is mama?" Because she's right around the corner. And then you get scared. I'm right there with you. Now, I've been able to visit some of the beautiful Canadian national parks over in British Columbia and Alberta, but there's some stunning national parks in your neck of the woods in Nova Scotia. In your experiences traveling, what are some of the parks that have stood out? And if folks visit Nova Scotia, which park should they visit when they're there?
As you know, we are in the eastern part of Canada, and our exposure has mainly been in and around the eastern part of Canada. And for folks who are really looking into traveling to this neck of the woods, we would highly recommend the Cape Breton National Park in Nova Scotia. So, again, for us, we visited Cape Breton 2 times actually since we have moved to Nova Scotia. The fall foliage is just stunning. It's a famous fall destination, and we would highly recommend people to come to Cape Breton. It has got some amazing landscapes, some beautiful waterfalls, and some breathtaking views of the island. It's located on Cape Breton Island. We would highly recommend that part of the national park to folks. And Cabot Trail, that's the most stunning part of the Cape Breton Island. I think Princy agrees. So that's one recommendation. We also recommend the Fundy National Park. Again, this is not in Nova Scotia. It's in the neighboring province, which is also on the eastern side of Canada. The Fundy National Park, it's home to some of the highest tides in the world. It has got some amazing trails, and the Fundy Trail Parkway is just amazing. You just drive along the coast of Fundy, and you get to stop along various places, and you can get on these short hikes. So it's just amazing in my opinion. And also folks who are really interested in the tides and what the Bay of Fundy has to offer, there is a 5K and a 10K race that we would highly recommend. So this race is unique. It happens around summertime every year. It's in Nova Scotia. It's called North Since Moses. That's the name of the race, and it's in the Five Islands Provincial Park. So basically, when the tides are low, the race happens on the ocean floor bed. So Princey and I, we did this race last year. We did a 5K race on the ocean floor bed, and that was just amazing. And it's a one-of-a-kind race, and we highly recommend folks do that, when they visit Nova Scotia.
Yeah, I think you have a great reel on your Instagram feed that shows footage from your participation on the race. And, one thing I had to ask, because it was still kind of muddy. Did you continue using those shoes after the race, or were those just one and done? Because I imagine they were probably caked with mud, right?
Yeah, it was, the color changed completely. I think we are both keeping it as souvenirs because that race was so much fun. We fell down so many times. I completely at one point went inside the ocean floor halfway. So yeah, we just kept those shoes. That stain is not going away. And Princey at the time had also been diagnosed, like I had mentioned before, with a condition. She loved the race and the adventure because we have never done a race like that before. People falling, getting dirty, all the mud all over you. It was so much fun.
The one thing that you mentioned is that you've been able to use AllTrails to help you find some of these hikes and locations. One thing that definitely stood out, especially this last winter, is some of the incredible waterfall hikes that you have there in Nova Scotia, not just in the spring, summer, and fall, but in the winter time when they're almost completely frozen. It looks just like a magical winter wonderland. What have been some of your favorite trails in and around your local neck of the woods, whether they're waterfall trails or, ocean lookouts or just being in the forest?
We really liked Egypt Falls in the Cape Breton National Park. So the thing about Egypt Falls for us is that it had multiple cascades. I have only seen waterfalls before. Again, I have not been to very many waterfalls before, but it has always been like a one or two cascade. But the thing that's unique about Egypt Falls was that it had multiple cascades. It was really a beautiful sight to see, and you get to go to the waterfalls up close. So Egypt Falls in Cape Breton National Park within Nova Scotia was a great one. I also would recommend Dixon Falls in the Fundy National Park. And the Fundy National Park is in New Brunswick province, so that's closer to Nova Scotia. That's also amazing. It is accessible. It has got stairs and everything, and you get to see the falls up close. And then the third one is the Laverty Falls. Again, this is also in the Fundy National Park in New Brunswick. The hike was just amazing, and we visited New Brunswick in the fall time last year, so we also got to experience the fall colors and fall colors on a journey journey to get to this waterfall was just amazing.
Yeah, I can only imagine, combining a beautiful waterfall with fall colors. It must be a dream come true to be able to hike to some beautiful destinations. There was one waterfall that caught my attention, Jones and Princy, that you have on your reel, and it caught my attention because I think you mentioned that it's taller than Niagara Falls. Can you share a little bit about that waterfall and where it's located?
So it's the Morse waterfalls. That's the one I believe that's taller than Niagara Falls. So we visited Montmorency waterfalls last summer. It's in Quebec City. It's maybe 2 hours or 2.5 hours from Montreal. It's a really neat waterfalls. It was just breathtaking in my opinion, and we really loved visiting that waterfalls last summer.
You mentioned the beautiful fall colors that you get there in Nova Scotia, and I always like to ask our East Coast guests to share a little bit about like when is the appropriate time. I know that because you're a little bit further north from like Maine and New England in the United States, it tends to start a little bit early for you guys. Is there a period of time each year where people could see the fall colors? Is it more in September or does it trickle into October as well?
So the peak fall season would be from first week of October till third week of October. Particularly second week of October, it would be the peak season where you can see the fall foliage in Cape Breton. They also have a page called Visit Cape Breton wherein they update all the fall foliage forecast. So people can check that page out before planning their trips in the fall.
And then I think Cape Breton is the one with the gondola, right? Where you can take a gondola up to a high point to oversee the fall colors as well?
Yes, that's correct. It's called Cape Smoky Gondola.
I'll definitely be adding it to my list. And then I did want to ask you guys because, we're recording this at the very beginning of spring. There's still snow up in the mountains and on some of the trails. And the waterfall pictures and reels that you've been able to share lately of them being frozen, how hard is it to reach some of those waterfalls? Or is the trail well maintained where it's not too dangerous to make it down to see those frozen waterfalls?
So we visited a few waterfalls this winter, and it's some of the most amazing things that I've seen recently. One of them is the Chutes on La Rose. I'm not sure whether if I'm pronouncing the name correctly because it's French. It's maybe an hour drive from Quebec City. The trails were well maintained. It was a bit tricky to get there in the sense that the temperatures were really cold when we got there. It was, I think, around minus 17 degrees Celsius or something on the day we visited this waterfall. But we got to see the waterfall completely frozen. It made us wonder how something can be completely frozen at the same time flowing. So that's the thing that came to our mind. Again, the temperatures made a difference for sure, but we did our research and we layered up. That really helped. And we had warm coffee. That also helped. And we had these micro spikes. I would highly recommend folks to take them with them when they're winter hiking so that they don't slip and fall, because in those conditions, there is ice, right? And when there isn't fresh snow, it's difficult to hike. So yeah, micro spikes really did the trick.
And, switching gears, Jones and Princy, you've been able to share about the beauty there in Nova Scotia, but you guys have also been able to travel abroad and see some amazing places. And I think one place that is starting to climb on a lot of people's bucket list when it comes to traveling abroad is Vietnam. And you were able to go to, I think it's pronounced Ninh Binh. It's where they used the backdrop for the latest installment of King Kong, the Skull Island. How was it visiting Vietnam and exploring that area of the world?
It was quite the culture change when we visited Vietnam. Even though we are from India, that part of the world, everything was very different. Like the food, the culture, even the scenery, the landscapes, everything was so different and it was stunningly beautiful. And then the Trang An River was just amazing. So that's the river that we took a boat ride to get to the Kong Island. In terms of hiking in Vietnam and compared that to Canada, I guess Vietnam, the thing that we got, it took some time for us to get used to. When we hike here in Canada, you get to have the trail for yourself sometimes. But that's not the case in Vietnam, where there would be people around you for sure every time. So even that's the case in India also, because of the population and the density. Yeah, so that would be one major difference that I have noticed. And also, yeah, the weather. When we visited Vietnam, it was summer, I guess, so it was hot. So we definitely had to dress accordingly, dress light with shorts and carry lots of water. And in Canada, we have never experienced that, because even in the summertime, at least in Nova Scotia, it goes up to 25 degrees Celsius or 26, but not beyond that. But that's not the case in Vietnam.
Now, one thing that I think Canada is known for is the stunning northern lights that you guys are able to witness, even in the lower section of the country. And you were able to share some stunning photos from, I think it's Laurie Provincial Park. How did it feel to see them for the first time? And can you walk us through that magical moment?
So I moved to Canada in 2020, and Princey came to Canada in 2022. So 4 years at that point, I always wanted to see the Northern Lights. Even when I was back in India, I've seen a lot of pictures and videos, and it's often showcased in some of the movies too. So it has always been on my bucket list to catch the Northern Lights, to witness the beautiful Northern Lights. And even after Princey moved to Canada, we were trying basically. So we even downloaded some apps, following people on Facebook. There are these different Facebook groups. We were really chasing these Northern Lights. And then we made several attempts to witness them within Nova Scotia, but not really traveling to other parts of the country. We just tried to catch them within Nova Scotia, and we failed several times. And then thanks to Princey, actually, she identified an app and tracked the time one evening. And then we were all ready to go. And then we hit the road. And while I was driving the car, actually, Princey started seeing the lights on the highway, and then she started recording them on her phone. And weirdly enough, she got to actually see the Northern Lights on the phone, but not through her eyes. Actually, she was just always carrying her phone and trying to record them. And that's when we realized that it was being recorded on our phone, then it was not visible to the naked eye. And we finally went to the provincial park. We were able to witness it through our own eyes, and that was just fantastic. We were surrounded by people. We were surprised to see lots of people taking their time at around 9 p.m. to come and witness this. It was really amazing to see it, and we were just both screaming our lungs out at that point. So yeah, it was really magical for sure.
Yeah, last year, a large portion of the United States were able to see the Northern Lights during the summer months. And, it's very true, like you were saying, your phone was able to pick it up, but like through the naked eye, you really couldn't see it that well. So I can only imagine going up north where it's less light pollution, but then a stronger northern light, and just being able to see them dancing with your naked eye would be something else. So I'm glad you guys were able to experience that, and definitely on a bucket list to either go up to Canada or Alaska and see it for myself without having to use your camera or your phone to see them. Now, one thing that I really love about your Instagram feed is that you've been really kind of showing your humorous side lately, especially with the winter hiking. What role does humor play in your outdoor adventures, and how has it been sharing those experiences online?
Doing these winter hikes is something that we have never really experienced before in India. I have done the Himalayan summit, but it was only on the last day we were hiking as a group on snow with micro spikes. It was difficult for sure. But then in Canada, if you hike during winter, it's a different thing, I would say. So for Princey, she never really experienced hiking in winter before. So, and weather really is a thing here. Hiking in 4 different seasons is not something that we have done in India together. So we were really trying different things in Canada. And one of them was hiking in winter as a couple. The first time when we tried, we didn't take micro spikes or crampons with us. So we were falling down many times. When I fell down, Princey was making fun of me and I was laughing, and we really should have known better. And that kind of thing came as a topic. And we really then started to research that we should be more prepared while hiking in these harsher conditions. So that's when we thought we'll record these funny moments and share with the broader hiking community so that people can, at least try and relate to what we are trying trying to do here. And funny enough, a lot of people were able to resonate to our content, especially the memes that we had put out. So that's how it came to be. It's just about trying new different things and failing and trying to just take it as a good sport and learn and improvise, I guess.
Definitely love the memes that you've been able to share. And I'm glad you're able to share those funny moments with us because I think everyone has a good winter story if they have snow and ice where they live.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, talking about snow and ice, one of the segments we like to do on the podcast is we like to do a deep dive into our guest's Instagram feed and ask them about a particular post and reel. And the one that I wanted to ask you about was I saw this hotel over 10 years ago because I think it's been going on for some time, but you guys were able to visit the Ice Hotel in Quebec, I believe. Can you share a little bit about visiting that location? And did you guys end up spending the night there?
So this winter in 2024, we wanted to do, as a couple, we wanted to do our first winter hiking together. We picked Quebec, Chutes, Jean Larose waterfalls, the frozen waterfalls that we spoke about earlier, part of our trip to Quebec in December. While we were there, we planned to visit this ice hotel, which is quite famous. The only one in North America. We have never been to a place like that before. So Princy was really good at researching about all of that, and she really got us the tickets, and she was really looking forward to when it was opening and when they would start, that kind of stuff. So we didn't end up staying the night. We went there, we had a couple of drinks, and it was just really stunning. The ice glass for drinks that they offered was just really nice. And then they had also some sculptures. They even had a few rooms for display. So the bed was on ice, the chairs were made out of ice. We like hiking during the winter, but staying at an ice hotel, I don't know. I need a warm blanket, I guess. But we did not stay the night, but it was just really fascinating to see the sculptures and the entire, hotel just made completely out of ice. That's just amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, because even the bed was made out of ice, and I know you can put a blanket over it, but I can't imagine sleeping on a block of ice.
Yeah, it's not for us, for sure.
Princy, since you were able to research and look up tickets, what recommendation would you have for folks visiting Quebec and they want to go check it out? Is that something that you have to plan weeks in advance in order to get tickets?
So for visiting the Ice Hotel, there are two things. You can either visit them or stay overnight. We are not really sure about the overnight stay if you would have to book it in advance. For visiting, it's available online, and I think it's called Ice D Glaze. They have an Instagram page and they put out updates when they are going to open and all their timings and all the information. It would be available online if you just want to visit. But if you'd like to stay overnight, I'm not really sure about that, if you would have to book it in advance.
But you were able to get tickets pretty easily just to visit?
Yes, that's correct. We got it easily online. I think we visited during last week of December. At that point of time, there were only 3 rooms that were open. But when you go during January, we'll be able to see a couple of more rooms as well.
Yeah, it's definitely been on my bucket list for some time since I think I saw it on either a travel show or a travel magazine. Definitely looks like a unique experience just to visit. Now, these last couple questions, guys, are questions we like to ask all our guests. The first one is, when it comes to your hiking, is there a regular routine that you like to do, whether it's at a summit or lookout point, or maybe it's at the end of the hike? For a lot of us, it's packing the favorite snack or drink. For others, it's a moment of zen or catching the favorite meal afterwards. Is there a regular custom or routine that you like to do when you reach your destination or when you make it back out?
Our ritual has always been, it depends on the difficulty of the hike. If it's a moderate to difficult hike and we have really struggled to get to the summit or get to the top and found it a little challenging to make our way back to where we started, our ritual has always been, go to a nice restaurant or get to a drive-through, whichever is nearer, and eat like you have been calorie deficient for a few days. So that has always been our ritual, and we really enjoy that.
I love that. Yeah, I think a lot of us, that post-hike meal is something that definitely sometimes motivates us to get off the trail a little bit faster, especially if you have a restaurant in mind.
Yeah, that hits differently for sure.
Now, this next one is about your pack list. Is there a luxury item that you tend to pack that falls outside of the essentials? For some, it's a camera. For others, it's, a book or a battery pack. Is there anything that falls outside of the essentials that you like to carry on your hikes?
So for us, the whole hiking together as a couple and exploring these different landscapes and terrains took off in the last year and a half, I would say. Since we started, I think we have come a long way. Princy has developed a real passion for capturing the landscapes or creating content out of it. We bought a drone and a gimbal to capture those moments in a more picturesque, to really translate the beauty that the landscape has to offer into the digital world. So we would say for us, it's really the drone and the gimbal.
The last question is, we're 3 months into 2025 as we're recording this. There's still plenty of time in the year to travel and hike, especially now that the snow's starting to recede and trails are starting to open up in the mountains. Is there any travel or hiking goals that you have for the remainder of the year?
We have really set our eyes on the province of Newfoundland. It's in the eastern part of Canada. We have never been to Newfoundland before, but we have heard great things. There is this national park called the Cross Montney National Park. We have started looking into it and we really like what we came across so far. We're looking forward to visiting Newfoundland this year. Cape Smear, which is the easternmost tip of North America. We are also looking forward to visiting that part of the country and also to see some puffins. They've never really seen puffins, the bird. So in Newfoundland, there's a place where puffins gather in large, and also some icebergs. We have been told that, if you go to Newfoundland, you can see icebergs. So that's what we are planning to do in 2025.
Oh man, that sounds exciting. I didn't know that icebergs made it that far south, but it makes sense, being there so close to the Arctic Circle. Really looking forward to seeing what you guys are able to create and capture when visiting. It's going to be some worthwhile trips and experiences. So this last section of the podcast, guys, is the this or that questions. And I always like doing it with couples because sometimes, whether they're couples or family members or friends, sometimes the answers surprise one another when it comes to these questions. We did do some updates for season 10. I'm going to give you 10 hiking related questions and you just pick which one you prefer out of the two. But the first one is, when hiking, do you pack a lunch or do you prefer trail snacks?
I prefer lunch.
Trail snacks for me.
And then waterfalls or summits?
Waterfalls for me.
Summits.
And then this next one is about trail systems. Would you prefer to do a trail with switchbacks or would you rather go straight up?
Switchbacks for me.
Switchbacks, yeah. Switchbacks.
And then our most controversial one, do you prefer hiking with trek poles or do you prefer freehand?
Freehand.
Trek poles for me.
And then this next one's about your footwear. Do you prefer wearing traditional hiking boots or trail runners?
I prefer hiking boots.
And then here's another trail system question. Do you prefer a loop trail or an out and back trail?
Loop trail.
Loop trail, yeah. Loop trail for me.
And then solo adventures or group hikes?
Solo adventures.
And then these two are the hardest ones, but sunset hikes or sunrise hikes?
Sunset.
Sunset hikes. We are too lazy to wake up early for sunrise.
Now, an equally tough one, but I think I might know the answer. Spring wildflowers or fall colors?
Fall colors.
I had a sneaky suspicion it was going to be fall colors, especially, seeing what you have been able to capture over the last couple of years. Now, the last one is, do you prefer a slow and scenic hike or fast and challenging?
I'd prefer slow and scenic hike.
Yeah, slow and scenic as well.
That was it for the this or that questions, guys. For folks that want to follow your adventures on social media and online, where are some of the places they can visit to see some of the places that we've discussed on the episode and also catch future adventures that you share?
Yeah, we have an Instagram page. It's rowing.mapletails. We love sharing our outdoor adventures with a broader community there. We are only on Instagram, and yeah, it's rowing.mapletails.
Awesome. And we'll be sure to share those in the episode show notes so people can check it out. Jones, Princy, it has been an awesome time talking to you, and you definitely added some new places onto my bucket list, especially next time I'm in the East Coast. Really appreciate you taking the time out of your evening to come on the podcast and share your experiences. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us and giving us the opportunity. It was really nice talking to you.
Yeah, and for taking the time to prepare the questions and everything. Thank you so much, Ivan.
And that brings us to the end of this episode alongside Jones and Princy. We extend a heartfelt thanks to them for coming on the podcast. Be sure to follow them on Instagram at roving.mapletails and check out the episode show notes to learn more. New episodes will be dropping every Monday this spring, with occasional bonus episodes on Fridays. To ensure you never miss out on these thrilling tales, remember to hit the like and subscribe button. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to check out our vibrant community on Instagram at Hikes and Mics. We'll be sharing episode visuals, my own personal hiking content, and so much more. Let's stay connected and continue to inspire each other on this remarkable journey. As we bid farewell, remember to tread those happy trails, embrace the great outdoors, and keep the spirit of adventure alive. Until next time, my fellow explorers, happy hiking. This episode's music was created by Ketsa. Follow him on Instagram at Ketsa Music. This episode is brought to you by Ursa Minor Outfitters. Folks, I'm absolutely in love with my loon mug. It's handmade, it's an absolute piece of art. Whether it's at the office or at the house, people keep asking to check it out. If you're not a loon fan, they also have other beautiful mugs for wildlife fans of moose, bears, and eagles. They specialize in products highlighting the outdoors and local pride through quality design by local artists. They've even started expanding into items beyond mugs, like apparel, dog accessories, and soon candles and more. They also try to partner and highlight other small businesses, and in some cases, forego profits in lieu of charitable giving to help their community, such as the dog rescue. So check them out, ursaminooroutfitters.com, and enter promo code HikesMikes10 at checkout to receive 10% off your order. And for our four-legged hiking partners, they also have a portable silicone dog bowl and also a sweet over-the-collar dog bandana. Go check them out, ursaminooroutfitters.com, and don't forget to enter promo code HikesMikes10 at checkout to receive 10% off your order.